Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. 9:36. And the first item on the agenda is public comments. Do I hear any public comments? Okay, hearing none, we are going to go into a short executive session. So I promise we'll try to keep this short and we'll get y'all back in here. We'll talk budget. So.
big project. But I don't think something bad. I don't think we had the ability.
Did we lose Monica?
You want that series?
Okay. Okay. Let me get this going. Okay. All right, so item 4 on the agenda is to consider and or approve action from executive session, and there will be no action from that session. Okay, item 5 is our budget workshop, and so we have a list of departments today that are going to present theirs. And Dwayne, if you want to start, and I know you emailed me and said you were fine with all of the recommendations that once Alicia and I looked at the budget and she did the fuel analysis and everything. So you were fine with everything?
Yeah, I'm fine with everything. The only thing that I had any questions I wanted to ask you about was the uniforms. I had to transfer some money this week, but I know that you talked to the uniform guy and I have to, it's supposed to be, that's a new contract.
Yeah, he said within the next week, and I've never heard another thing from him.
Monday, he told me he was gonna save us all this money and it's gonna be cheaper, so we can go with that, but I think. But what he told me,
Okay.
he's gonna get.
I've got his card, so maybe I can reach out to him and say,
But on the other hand, he told me they're having a price increase next week.
so we don't know.
So we don't, but I did run out this year.
Oh,
And then the only other question I had on mine was the lateral. I didn't see it anywhere, so that's still gonna be $16,000 budgeted for lateral.
Actually, there's room for you to go up a little bit if you would like to, because there's still that fund balance that we need to use. We can pull that up real fast.
what number is that?
It's not on this because
It's not on this.
special
it's-
revenue.
Right, okay.
So,
That's the only question I had to.
Okay. If we need to adjust that uniform, once I talk to him, if he gets us something, then I'll holler at you on that.
He can be all attention, it's gonna be less, so it should be okay. But
Okay.
I don't see that.
But we've transferred $2,000 over
Yes,
for this year?
I transferred $3,000 yesterday to cover till the new year.
Oh, okay.
yeah, there's still,
Proof to be.
Right, okay.
there's still $42,000 in fund balance for the lateral road fund. So last year we did 25,000. We could still do that if it's needed.
Okay, we got whatever you're on the balance, put in there, I'll work with it.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions for Dwayne?
I got one.
Okay,
Since last year, we took money out of equipment and put it into fuel because fuel costs.
Yes, sir.
Are you still happy with only 90,000 instead of raising it up a little bit
In equipment.
for equipment?
Yeah, I just have 2 items this year I budgeted for, so I mean, everything else is in pretty good shape.
so what did you budget for with that?
90.
Well, no, I know. It's 90,000. What 2 pieces of equipment are you budgeting?
Budgeted to replace a belly dump that's 16 years old and to replace another pickup.
Okay.
That's crossing the mileage threshold.
Okay,
Now, another issue, I need to go talk to Country, but we haven't got those pickups we bought this year. So
right,
I'm hoping they're gonna be here for October first, but I'll.
right. Yeah, let us know what they say.
I'll see what we can do.
Okay. Any other questions for Dwayne?
If they don't show up like vehicles like that, do we need the budget for them or just bring that from the general fund over next year when we get it, since that will basically carry into the general fund this year? Like what?
So, I have it set to where as long as it's received by November the 30th, then we can keep it in the prior year.
Okay,
So, because it's already
well, hopefully,
ordered.
yeah,
What if
And if
not?
it's after that, then,
we have to do a budget amendment.
yeah,
Just transfer, it. Just don't plan for it in the budget, but just transfer it from
Right.
the general fund.
yeah, we can do that. Just roll it
I think
over.
we might have that with a few departments, probably.
But we need to be, I mean, because we've never done that before. Usually if it doesn't get received, then it comes out of your next year budget. That's kind of been the
Right.
practice.
It doesn't happen very often, but maybe it has
I
happened.
mean, we can make an exception for vehicles only.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
in the last couple of years, I
Since
think
it's been so hard to get them.
all the entities, I mean, I was watching the cities meeting last night at Border. I mean, they're starting to get their vehicles rolling in, but they're just from like 22. They're coming, some of their vehicles are coming in.
So is that what you want to do? Just make an exception for vehicles only? But I just don't want to get into the, they're ordering something
Yeah.
on September
Right.
the 28th. That's
Right.
not gonna, so that they can use this budget for next
It
year.
used to not be that hard to get.
Right.
Now it's kind of unusual.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of an
Any
exception.
kind of vehicles taken like this.
Yeah, I think we do that. We're not really creating. I
Yeah,
don't think we're creating a
vehicles only.
precedent.
I think to me, there should be an exception.
If they were
Vehicles
ordered in
such
a
as so
timely
hard to get.
manner.
Yeah.
But not if they were ordered September,
Right,
knowing that we're not gonna get them.
right.
Yeah, 6 months later, you still haven't got them.
Right.
So you mean, like, as long as they're ordered before now? Or
Before what
Well-
date?
July 31st, as long as they've been ordered?
I think as long as they've been ordered now, I mean, if people are gonna make the order now, they need the budget for it next year.
Right,
But yeah,
okay.
There needs to be a cutoff in there somewhere.
Right.
You don't just leave the order indefinitely.
Right.
If you don't get them in a certain length of time, then
So if they were ordered before
Something else.
July the 1st,
July
Uh,
31st,
I think-
yesterday,
that's reasonable.
or Monday.
That's
That's
okay on your end,
Mhm.
July 31st.
Okay.
Going forward, I mean, they'll get them in August, September, they'll say, do it for July 31st, and they catch up.
okay, anybody else questions for Dwayne? Okay, thank you, Dwayne. Yeah, you can stay if you want to. Riveting, our riveting conversations.
Nobody likes it.
Yeah. Okay, hey, Judge, you want to go since you have court? Yeah. Sorry, we're just butting in front of everybody, but I know everyone's time's important. So did you have anything in particular that, were you okay with what we had sent you as your recommended budget?
I'm fine as to the 316. One thing, I don't have it here, but the road course.
Mhm.
I want,
When's it go?
Did we have copies?
No.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
thank you. Here, I'll pass down.
and actually I only did 5. So.
okay.
And it's all basically the same. Somebody's not gonna get one.
That's fine. I'll show you.
One line item I would like to increase by, I would say, $3,000. It's a state national conference. We went over on that this year. Reason we went over is we generally have gotten 4 scholarships from the state on that. They've now started limiting each drug court to 2 scholarships on that.
Okay.
And so recognizing that, we go to the conference once a year. And I apologize that I didn't recognize that earlier. But we just went to the conference and I just recognized that that's going to cost more as we go into the future.
So does everybody on the drug court go?
Generally not. We usually miss, like this year we had 8 of our 10 went. It's usually the vast majority of us do go. And we, like I said, we max out our scholarships through the state. So we use all the state money we use. But those costs, as well, everything's cost. Hotels and everything have just gone up and up the last few years. And so I just didn't want to run into the same problem that we had this year. terms of running out of money in that line item.
Are there any? Let me look at this line items that we are not.
Potentially, I would say move maybe 1,500 probably from drug testing, not spent the amount in drug testing. Well, we reduced that. Yeah, so that's already been reduced.
It looks like we took $2,000 out of there for
Yeah.
what? For,
Right.
oh, for the conference. Mhm. So are you okay with leaving that at like 5,000?
We're probably gonna need a little more in there this year. It's good. The drug testing, it's, we fluctuate on drug testing. Right now, we're low on all our needs for that. And we have some from last year that we're able to use. So I see this year probably increasing a little bit on drug testing. On the use, but probably reduce it to 6. Looks like the request for our request is 7,000.
755. Yeah, why is that
So-
such a weird amount?
Let me do some explanation. So last year, drug court had a negative fund balance of $1,515. So we had to reduce the expenditures last year to make up for that negative fund balance.
Mhm.
So this year, that extra 1,515, I just added it to the state national convention because I knew you probably needed it there.
Okay,
But I think prior year it had been removed from that drug testing.
yeah,
So that's why it's kind of an off number. And so typically they only had 11,000 in the state national conference. And so it's up to the 12,515 because I added that extra 1,515 to make it the 60,000 that they normally get.
Mhm.
When was the line item, the 4990 miscellaneous created? Was that last year? Because we haven't used that 2,400 miscellaneous. This year, or I don't know when it was created,
We have never used it.
so I don't know, I mean, if we could move that
Yeah.
up.
I think it was created last year.
I'm trying to figure out what.
I can't remember.
You foresee a problem if we move that up
The
to,
only time we move it is when I figure out.
Yeah,
I need that,
right.
But I gotta spend the money. I go, "Oh, that was for.
Yeah.
Yeah, next year, yeah. I know, yeah, but to be honest, at this point, as I stand here, I don't know. I don't know what the. So,
I mean, we could,
but I'm happy, if we could move that over.
Okay.
Into
The
the
conference.
conference. We'd be it,
that should kind of wash that out.
So what do we need to have for the budget in the conference?
I would.
14?
Yeah, that's probably where I want to be, and then so. Another $1,000, I guess.
You said 14?
I think 14 would be what I would ask them. The question budget is 11. I think 14 is what we would need. So we would move 2,000, whatever.
So move the miscellaneous up there. Okay,
And then whatever's left, I guess I would ask for an increase.
13,400.
okay.
That's it.
Any other questions for the judge?
Okay,
So we're just gonna move the 2,400 up to the state national conference. Right. That'll make it 14,915 in that line item.
So can we just round it up to 15?
Yes, but that's gonna
What's-
change the total budget instead
Yeah.
of the total
Oh.
budget being 60,000. It's
Okay, I got you.
Oh, so you're transferring from the recommended, like I was looking at the.
Yeah, I'm looking
requested.
at the requested budget, but the recommended budget is 12,515. Is that what we're-
Yeah,
Okay, so
Because I made that adjustment because of the fund balance
Okay,
thing
okay,
from
I see.
last year.
So if we move that, yeah, that should
So-
Yeah,
definitely,
well, I think we'll be fine.
14,900. Okay,
Okay, all right, thank you.
right, thanks,
thanks,
Judge.
Judge.
Craig?
Oh, hold on.
What?
I think, sorry to interrupt you. I think I figured out. If you look, I think we moved possibly that software and support, the 5721. Is that what that miscellaneous was? You see that 24, because it's not
Yeah.
budgeted for this year.
Yes, so now I remember what happened.
Yeah.
Whenever I entered the budget, I entered it on the wrong line item. I entered it in that miscellaneous and it should have been in software and support
Okay.
to cover the,
So there wasn't anything actually,
yeah, so nothing is in miscellaneous.
right,
So we need to probably put that 2,400 in the software and support. Because they're gonna still have their software and support.
yeah.
Okay.
So there's nothing budgeted in miscellaneous.
Right, there should be nothing.
So we're gonna have to, are we gonna have to increase the budget then? Because if we don't have that 2,400 to move,
Mhm.
or is that figured in the 60, the 2,400? So we're still good.
We're just not good on the conference.
Right, the
Uh,
conference, because with 60,000, the conference has to be at 12,515. So if you make the conference any higher, it's gonna up the total overall budget.
There's so many,
Well, are you sure it's not added in there?
That 2,400 has to stay in there.
Right.
So if you put, so basically we moved the miscellaneous 2,400.
Oh, and it's not in the software and support. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
but his actuals, whoops, my eyes are jumping in. He hasn't hit his budget in the actual, like, there's 3,000 available here. There's 3,000 available here. 4,000.
That's today.
Yeah,
Well, that's as of 7/18.
Yeah. We still
Does he
have,
spend that much within 4 months?
I know that his treatment provider is a monthly thing, defense counsel is a monthly thing.
Okay, so that's 20,000 divided by 12.
The only thing would be the drug testing.
Yeah, it'd probably hit it because it'd be less than 2. It'd be like 7.
right, which,
month.
like he said, right now, they're not doing a lot of that, so we might be able to get by this year with that budget, but we're either gonna have to raise up that state conference, national conference, or leave it like it is.
Selections on who can attend.
Yeah, maybe not everybody goes every year, maybe every other year they get to go.
Because before that, the year before that, it was just 3,100. So if they do 1 or 2, it'd be like probably 6,000.
Yeah, it just kind of depends on where they have it. I think that one year that it wasn't as much, it was in Texas. But they're all
Well, in
over.
that year too, they sent some on scholarship.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, we only get 2 scholarships now. Thoughts? I'm kind of like, we probably just need to leave it. And
So they're done this year though with that line item, like the 10,
they've already been.
390 is.
Mhm.
So we
No,
just
we
did that
moved.
budget amendment from the opioid settlement to
Yeah.
increase it, and then the pending invoices have not hit yet, so I don't know what the total is gonna end.
So is this increase on here from, you've already done all, these are the increase that we voted on from the
Yes,
It
opioids?
is
is-
not reflected
It's-
on,
Okay,
right, but we already,
because it was
said we
done
were gonna
after the
move.
18th.
okay.
So this only reflects up to the 18th, because that's
That's why,
kind of an ordeal to update the spreadsheet.
yeah, that's why I was trying to think, because we just talked about it last week.
Right,
But the state national conference invoices, those are in, right? Like that line item should
No.
go, okay.
No,
So those are the
they're
outstanding.
sitting on my desk for me to review right now.
Okay.
So they
Can we
are
just-
not
Do you
included.
think this will be updated by the 7th?
I can get it updated to be up
Because
to,
it's kind of a guessing game right now with some pending,
this is close.
yeah.
Okay.
pretty close.
All right, so how about we say we get that updated and review it again on,
Yeah.
at the next budget? Okay,
Cause I like hitting the 60 with the budget. I mean,
okay. All right, Craig, do you want to do yours?
Well, I didn't have any problem with the recommended.
Huh?
Just kind of, I think the only places had a couple of reductions. I'm still trying to figure out where office supplies kind of lands and reduce that. The copier expense is up like $200, and that was, I think most or all of that was the taxes on that I didn't think about whenever we budgeted at the beginning.
Mhm.
And then our dues with our association that my two assistants are part of has gone up, the dues went up, and so that's like $95. I think my proposed and recommended is about 2% less than last year's. Y'all have any questions on that?
Good.
And I don't know if, Felicia, have you talked to them about the miscellaneous?
I've talked to Judge about it.
Okay, well, I get a supplement from the state every year to use for my office. Some of that money has already been, it was pledged before I took office to office salaries. There's some that's left over, and that amount from last year was $7,500. And that goes to pay for my office if I need it for office expenses or anything new that I want to do. And I talked to Alicia about if I don't use all of that, that's state money, so I want to preserve it in case I want to use it later. And so we've talked about, and she's fine with creating a fund, just basically an equity fund where I can park that money, and then if I don't end up using it all during the year.
And you're good with that, Alicia?
Yeah,
we had that
it should go
conversation.
into a special fund. Since it's money, and then that way, because we can't use it for anything else. It's only to fund his office.
Right,
So-
and because that's specifically what it says
Right.
in the
Yeah, that's-
requirements for
that's-
spending money. Yes, that's, yeah, okay. Okay, anybody else have any questions for Craig?
Easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thanks for making it easy. Okay. Who wants to go next?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, Amanda?
They're not fashionable.
Okay, I was good with the recommended, don't have anything else. Increase on the office supplies and.
Have you gone over on your autopsies this year?
Yes. They used to run about $2,500. Now it's about $4,300.
Mhm. Per autopsy.
Yes.
And if we had to move some from the contingency line items
There.
to her.
Okay, I see that.
And then also trying to get in the group between learning from my two resources, as far as that goes, and some things like we want to send every car wreck, we want to send every suicide on certain things, and I'm kind of at this point figuring out and leveling out which ones that I can, because sometimes it's inevitable, but sometimes you have to look at it from another standpoint as well. Like this may be subject to like a lawsuit or things like that, that I may have to supply paperwork. and
Right.
things for. So it's better, even on something that I may know what it is, it may be something that I need to have all the documentation to be able to. Well,
Yes. Okay, anybody have any questions for Amanda? No, okay, thanks.
thank you.
Appreciate you. Angelica, you want to?
I sent a letter or kind of a standpoint on, I was asking for. So on my recommended budget. I think that they covered pretty much all that I had been asking for. Except for my equipment, and I did, well, and the fuel, which can be amended later if needed, if necessary, is that correct?
No, the budget cannot be amended once it's
The
set.
fuel,
The fuel cannot be amended. Once the budget's set, it's set unless it's an emergency.
okay, so then I guess I'll talk about that. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen me out and about, I'm trying to, use my position. That's gonna be good for the county. That's gonna require me to step out and do some more patrolling. I do help out a lot with the sheriff's office, and they've helped me out also with some equipment for my vehicle. And so this year, I'm really looking at getting out and doing more patrolling and things like that. So that's why I was wanting to up my fuel to get it. So I thought that, if it came down to it, that I could just have an amendment on my fuel, but if that's not gonna be feasible, I'd at least like it to be what it was this year, which was a 35. On my equipment, the reason that I asked so much for that, I sent y'all a little bit of information on that. I am looking at getting the push bumper on my vehicle. And that's gonna allow me to also mount my siren, because if not, I'm gonna have to mount my siren behind my bumper. And that's gonna cost a little bit more. I mean, not as much as this, but I think it's just good practice that we have a push bumper on our patrol vehicles, just in case we get into any kind of situation where it's needed. That way it doesn't tear up the cars on the front end. Also, I'd like to get put in a cage in the back. It's gonna be a 1-person partition, and that's just for my safety. So if I do pick anybody up on warrants and things like that, when I'm serving papers, I have somewhere to put them that's safe for me and for them. So those are the things that I've added in. There's also a gun safe that I've wanted to purchase. And all these things too, I mean, if y'all recommend that maybe I put in for ARP grant, that's fine too, but on the safe, that's just so if I go to do any kind of writ of execution or any kind of writ of possession, and I go into a house and I have to seize any kind of weapons or something that was left behind, or any kind of high priced jewelry, things like that, I have to have somewhere safe to put them. So not all the time do I have available to get the sheriff's office to get it put up right away, and I won't have anywhere secure to put that. So the
I think
safe,
there's a safe in JP two
do they have one?
down in the storage. Down the hall. Big safe.
In JP2?
Mhm.
I've never,
Might ask Amanda about it.
okay,
I mean, unless they don't have it anymore, but when I was down there, there was a big, like, person size
okay.
safe.
Well, if they're not using it, and if they don't mind me having it, I don't mind, taking that instead of.
You might have to get a degree to learn to like get a stethoscope, because I think I got it to open a couple of times, but it's
Okay,
not my expertise to
okay.
go left and right 3 times. Yeah,
Yeah,
If
I'll
not,
definitely
though,
ask about.
If not, that could be that security fund usage, couldn't it? Since it's gonna be housed at the annex for a safe storage. of
like courthouse
like
security.
Yeah, Guess I could do that. I mean, if y'all, I mean, I'm, y'all.
I mean, I just,
Yeah,
I don't
Well,
know.
that's pretty limited to. I mean, the statute lists specific things that you can only use that courthouse security for. so
Did you have
we
to see if that would qualify?
I think,
Because it's more for the public security, not security of stuff. It's more like for security cameras,
Personnel.
security personnel,
for the courthouse.
locks on the door, the outside doors.
Yeah.
It's not really for,
And how much does the cage cost?
The cage is
14.
Did you put that on here?
yes, 1466.39.
Oh,
But that doesn't include my install, which I'll just pull that out of my equipment maintenance or.
I did want to point out too on the cell phone line item that needs to be
Oh, yeah.
zeroed out
I've
because
got
she
that.
no longer gets that.
Oh, yeah. And moved over to
Yeah,
the
and
line item.
It was for, now she's got a county provided phone. And you're paying that out of the equipment line item, is that where you're
So
paying for
it's
your
coming out of the
tablet?
miscellaneous, so I was gonna see if there can be a new line item created for the cell phone and the tablet. Unless y'all just wanna put it back in the miscellaneous, then I'm fine with that, but at least that way we know exactly where that's going and it can't be moved around, it's just fixed for that. So, I don't-
what works out best for you, Felicia, as far as budget stuff?
I think we could put it in with that computer support and maintenance, because I mean, it's for your tablet computer and the phone part is just an addition to that. So if we want to just add it into that computer support and maintenance.
The last thing is, and it's not on here, but I did put it in the notes, is adding, some money. Did I have it in
Yeah, I think you put it
for my
in.
uniform stuff? Did I add that in there?
Well, I read it on one of
On
them.
the letter you did.
Yeah, that
Okay, on the letter. Okay, I'm sorry.
Wait, no,
This
no,
is
no.
my
It was,
first one.
there was
it
something.
was at the bottom of that. In the red.
So, forgive me, I'm sorry. I think I overthink things.
I read it somewhere.
I did too.
Yeah.
I read it somewhere, but I don't
I
remember
think
what I
I
did
did,
with it.
it is, it's on number 8C, 8C.
Oh, yeah, there it
For
is.
the uniform, so I just went and picked up, I had all my laundry done and it was like 30 something dollars to have pretty much everything, the uniforms that I do have now. All those were purchased by me and I upkeep them myself right now at this point, so I was just gonna see if y'all would add me a line item for my uniforms. I know they haven't been used in the past at all, but I do like to be presentable, whenever I am serving papers and things like that, just because I do go out in the sheriff's office and I do other things besides just bailiff magic, piece work and so for papers. So I just think it's more professional for my department and I'm trying to change that culture. So I think that would help me do that.
So how much were you asking for in the uniforms?
I didn't put it in that, but on that deal, I did put about $500. I did send y'all with what in that email.
Yeah,
These tax filters that I buy, they're anywhere from $65 to $75. And then it's run about. So like I said, the ones that I have, so favorite or whatever. I mean, even getting 2 uniforms. 2 sets of uniforms is gonna cost me, $250-$300. And then plus the keeping up with dry cleaning, just so that way. Help. I don't know if there's anything else in there that you want to go over that I can help provide.
I think while you're here, just for the court, since it's in your, you didn't mention the salary stuff.
Oh,
So. if
I
you
didn't know
wanna-
if we were like,
Well, yeah, I think, I don't know if you, since it's in your budget, I don't know if we're gonna make you come back and talk about that, but like your bump that you're wanting on that.
so
address it.
I based that off of the salary that the sheriff's office provides to their sergeants pay. Right now, I think even their starting out deputies are making close to 60,000. And before I just don't want to talk about anybody that's been here before, but I know that there's only two things that the constable's office is needs to provide, and that's bailiffing the court and serving the court papers, the JP papers. I do help provide a lot more services, I believe, to the county. I go back up to sheriff's office, I back up to PD sometimes. I've helped them take a few calls now that I got my RMS system. I can actually take those calls and do the reports on them and things like that. And I plan on doing that. I plan on helping out a lot more in the schools. I want to do a lot more patrol, and I know y'all see me here. I mean, pretty much every day. Like I'm always usually around. I come and help out whenever y'all do have court and things like that. And I've helped bailiff for Cindy, which I plan on continuing in the future. I've gone up and helped district court too with extra duty and things like that. So I just think that me being a solid full-time law enforcement agency in the county, that I would like to see that reflected in my pay. I mean, that's y'all's decision, but I know I talked to Alan Bristol, which is TAC, just the other day, and we kind of went over some of that, and he said that I could use him as an example in his county that he used to work for. And he said that they have four constables in their county. Two of them go and bailiff their court and serve their court papers, and that's all they do. And then they have two that are working constables that go out, do the things that I'm doing plus planning on doing. And he said that there is a pay differential that they pay them versus the working versus what they have to do kind of thing. So I don't want to say he recommended, because I don't want to, put that out there. But I mean, he said that, they do pay their full-time working constables more than what they do the constables that aren't so active in their precincts as well. So and I do want to just put it out there just so that way I kind of have it out there for myself. But I would like, y'all to just consider that me and the other constables the other constable are two separate agencies, just like me in the sheriff's office. So, what he may need, I may not need, and what I may need, he may not need. So I just want to just put that out there for myself too, that, just necessarily because y'all give him something doesn't mean that, y'all need to give it to me. And I think surely vice versa.
I'm kind of confused. So when everybody stands up and says they're going with the recommended, that means that we're not doing the raise.
Well, the
Right.
recommended, yeah, the recommended is including no raise. It's salaries as they set now.
Yeah,
We'll talk
Usually
about
we
salaries
talk about
later.
Salaries later, and then if you decide to do a $100 a month raise, then I will.
Everybody
increase
gets-
Oh.
Yeah,
salaries.
we don't pick and choose.
okay.
But that's a base increase that she's asking.
Yeah, she's asking for an entire base
Yeah.
increase of $10,000.
Base Salary of.
Okay. And then the extra employee.
Yeah, so I think me and Cindy kind of talked about that. I think that may have gotten.
Can I just for semantics,
Yes.
Judge Irwin.
I'm sorry. I'm so I'm so sorry.
That's right. Oh, go ahead. That's all. I just,
But we've kind of talked about that and helping out. I really wanted to get that. It's more of a reserve deputy, so it would only be like if they come in, they get paid kind of thing, and that's only whenever I need them that would happen as well. Me helping bailiff for the county court as well as the JP court, and then I would just like to have somebody there just in case there's been, okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my words together. There's been a few instances where I've had to be at the JP court doing my stuff there with truancy and things like that. And then also I've had to be at writs of possession that have kind of gone sideways that I needed to be at. So I've had to call in other officers to come help bailiff my JP court so I can go handle that situation. So it's kind of like I've been split. Also, whenever I'm gone for trainings, most of my trainings are going to be week-long trainings. And during those week-long trainings, the sheriff's office has had to step in as well to help out with serving my papers and things like that. So mainly it would be just for that. So they would not need any kind of vehicle, any kind of thing like that. They would just show up to the annex, and they'll probably only the annex. They either help serve papers there if people walk in, or bailiff the courts if I'm gone during the weeks that they need to have court, because during the year, especially during truancy, we're having court on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, mostly every week. So it's hard for me to go to some of the trainings whenever we already have court scheduled. And I know the sheriff's office, they've been great. They've been more than willing to come and help, but I know right now, and I don't know how it is going to be in the future that, they have, some openings, so they don't have the personnel sometimes.
Is the school not sending an SRO over with those truancy cases?
So I've talked
Because
to.
they used to.
Yeah, so I talked to Webster not too long ago, and he told me that in their contract, they're contracted to serve the papers, not bailiff the courts. So, and I don't know why that is. I know Judge Wysong is going to have a conversation with them about that, but I'm not.
They
sure.
used to, that's what they paid Kendall to
Right.
do. Even though he was a constable, they paid him to be the person that represents the school in those truancy hearings. So my constable at the time, Constable Cromer, wasn't there at any of the truancy hearings. So because the school provided that person, and I think they should.
I do agree. I don't know how that's gonna go as far as, what Judge Wysong is going to ask of them to change that, because I told her, I'm fine with going out and serving papers as if they'll come bailiff the court. So I don't know that dynamic, and I kind of just try to work what I can on my end, but I can't. That's hard for me to answer.
Is that an interlocal that we had with them when they were paying?
The school actually hired Kendall as a truancy officer. And
So like an
that,
independent contractor thing, like on his.
Yeah.
side. So it wasn't.
yeah, county didn't have anything to do with it. School approached him and said, hey, will you go pick up kids if we need to, or get them to court, but he was always there at court, and he represented the school, but he was also, a bailiff for the court. So I didn't have to call Ron every time we had truancy court. Which can take a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were starting at about 10 in the morning, and a lot of the days we weren't getting out till almost 2:30.
Right.
So, it's a pretty long day. That cuts into most of my day of doing that. And also, going back to a little bit to my fuel budget, I did bring a little bit of documentation on kind of how many more civil papers. I didn't bring enough, but if you want to kind of look through there, and you can see on this line the dates that I get them in, but it'll kind of show the months of like the papers that I've served, because I started serving a lot more for the district clerk's office. They asked me, I really kind of did it. I know that whenever the vehicles were approved for the constable's office, that was, from what I understood, to help the sheriff's office more with just the civil end of it, which, you know, I feel like kind of falls under my guidelines as far as my constable duties. But I went up to the district clerk's office to try to take a little bit of that weight off the sheriff's office as well. And so if you look from that first page to the last page, I mean, I went from maybe getting 5 or 6 papers a month to, I think I'm at like 30 now. So I've taken a lot of weight off of them doing that. So that kind of goes along with my fuel budget. If I can at least leave it at what it was this year at 35, because I am running around a lot more, you know, getting that stuff served and done. But with the reserve, that also kind of ties in there and it will help. And the only reason the only reason I'm asking that it be paid is because in the past, we've never had to have, we always had to be commissioned somewhere. We always had to be under somebody to be commissioned to keep up with our training hours and, you know, to serve our time, and so that way our license didn't expire. Now, all a peace officer has to do is keep up with their own training hours and they can stay commissioned as long as they want. So I think that's a big reason why you see that for the fall in a lot of these officers that are just reserving out somewhere, they're not really doing it anymore. And that kind of hurts us as departments that you don't see a lot of reserve officers coming out and actually helping anymore, is because they don't have to have those hours in a department. They can just go get their training and be done. So
your fuel, about how much a month are you spending?
it really just
Think
depends.
Alicia sent y'all a fuel analysis.
Yeah, I think last month it was probably.
But then hers is a little different because they just got fuel cards, so there's not a lot of historical data. So,
So for June 24th, it was 208.
yeah, so I show that the monthly average fuel use is approximately $225 a month. So times 12 is 2,700, which is what I put on there. Look at her,
To date, year-to-date usage, 1,706.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. It's not close to 35.
Yeah. Which at the beginning,
the 35 was based on the very high.
Right, that really
That's
high fuel
last budget
prices.
season.
Right, that's why everybody's fuel was up last year, because the prices.
and in the beginning, I was using maybe like $100 here, $100 there. 120, 140 kind of ish area. And then I started kind of going up a little bit more, but it really depends on the month and what I have going on. But like I said, I mean, with me hopefully picking up more patrol, I'm thinking that, you know, that's gonna probably go a little bit. I'm really not sure how much, but I just, if I can have it amended, then I'd like to kind of see what a full year of me out patrolling really would do as far as my fuel costs, and hopefully the prices stay down. But those could spike back up too.
So this may kind of seem like a bad question, but what is the advantage to us of you being a patrol officer?
It's just gonna bring in more revenue to the county. I mean, if I'm out there writing tickets, if I'm out there looking for more warrants, things like that. I mean, I'm bringing in more revenue for the county. And plus you get another set of boots on the ground for the citizens.
Are you gonna be bringing in $10,000 worth of revenue for the county?
I don't know. I actually brought.
I mean, I'm just, I know you wouldn't know those
No,
numbers, but that's
I
the
do.
salary increase that you're asking. for.
Right. You know, I mean, you have the patrol, like I said, the patrol deputies that are right at about, I think they're. Sure, are y'all right at about 60,000 on your starting out patrol? So, I mean, they provide boots on the ground. I'm still providing some other services that are bringing in revenue, like yesterday, for example, I got rid of, injunction. That pays $200 towards my constable fees. So me doing a lot more of that stuff, of course, I have to still go out and I have to look for the guy and, get him served. But, I've had a lot more, constables that I've met up with, like during our conferences and stuff. I know I'm a working constable. They've actually recommended me to, attorneys' offices that have been sending me more work, but stuff like that, not writ of execution, my brain went numb, but, no, it is a writ of execution and those are $200 a piece. So I think me being more active and they know that I'm more active, they are starting to send me stuff from attorneys' offices, knowing that I'm going to go out and I am going to work, and that does bring a lot of revenue into it. I don't know if it's gonna be $10,000. I mean, I would hope, but also, doing the truancy stuff with Stinnett School, they pay me to go serve every paper. Just the or a couple months that we did that y'all approved it for me to have that contract with them. I mean, that was $600 for serving their truancy. So I'm working at making those contacts and putting myself out there more to get that actual revenue coming in for my department.
I mean, this is a first for me, so that's why I'm asking
Yeah,
questions.
no, I do.
Is
Sure.
we don't write your job description, so
Yeah.
we don't know,
Well,
especially elected officials.
And honestly,
Because I
What
could start
Angelica
doing a
was
lot more work.
appointed to do was that what it constitutionally says that a bailiff or a constable is to bailiff the JP court and serve the JP court's papers.
That's all it says in statute. Oh, okay.
yes.
Yes.
So all the
And
extra.
that's what
Yeah.
we appointed her to do. All of this extra stuff she's taken on herself, which we appreciate. It's not that we don't, but that is stuff she has taken on herself. We didn't ask her to do that.
Yeah. And that's my only argument is I could start doing other stuff too, and then ask the court to raise mine as an elected official. Because I'm doing blah, blah, blah. And so I was just questioning. I was trying to figure out where because if the sheriff's department didn't ask you to patrol because it's short, you just want to.
No.
That's kind of where we're.
Right, and it's not that they're asking me to do anything either. This is really just, I believe this is good for our county because you only have a certain amount of
I don't know.
law enforcement in the county. And this provides you with an extra boot on the ground as well, for that, so.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering my question.
So there's a salary survey that I look at. That's what she was handing me right there. There's supplements that some of the similar constables get. Are there others from state? Do you know how some of that works?
Salary supplement.
Do you know how the supplement type of stuff comes from some of the other constables across the state? Or is that something you?
I don't know where.
I don't know if I'm gonna speak out of turn here, but I know I don't know. I would assume that it would mean probably,
I can call one of them.
yeah, I would maybe.
See, Gray County has it.
Something that they-
So that, yeah.
Yeah,
listed-
4,200 for one and 1,500 for the other.
What is their base salary?
Gray's is 34.
That's a supplement.
Mhm.
I'm not sure. I talked to Alan a little bit about because there was some grant stuff out there for like the equipment and things like that, but he said that it doesn't apply to me. Which I'm not beside, like my light bar, the sheriff's office, they donated that over to me. And some equipment that I got in my vehicle, I had made because if not, it was gonna cost me almost $1,000. So I had a friend just make me a stand like for my tablet that, can be put in there that's way cheaper and stuff like that. So, and then I've contacted Sherman County, which when that comes through, he's gonna help me out. He has some vehicle cameras and extra body cams that they're fixing to phase out of to switch over that he said that he would donate over to me for equipment. So I've tried to I tried to, also on the other hand, cut costs for my equipment and stuff that I have on there, so. I know that, I've had several citizens come up to me and, are glad that I'm out actually patrolling and doing stuff. I have one trooper that, actually walked the dog yesterday. That's like, we've never had any constables that have been out and actually doing the work you do, and we really appreciate it. So I know that the citizens appreciate at least having another law enforcement agency that's out there that can respond, and I've been getting a little bit more involved in these schools and things like that. So.
So Alicia, if we decided to add that $500 that she's requested for the uniform, would you do a uniform line item or? Okay,
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
okay, I'm fine with that. If you guys are fine with adding that $500 in the uniform line item. Do y'all have a problem with that?
That's creating one, right?
Yes, creating a line item for uniforms and putting $500 in there.
So
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I do find raising the fuel back up to. What was last time?
So Alicia did the fuel analysis at how many miles a month? It was like 2 something. And that was what?
So the latest data that I had when I did it was the 6/24 statement. And so it shows that the average monthly for this year is $208.02. Which average usage is about 66.98 gallons. Is what she averaging for this fiscal year.
Okay, I see that.
Like that's just through June. We just now got the July statements, so.
But the fuel analysis includes through the budget year. Well,
Yes. So
your
I took the
estimate,
average
yes,
monthly and multiplied it by 12.
by 12,
Yes.
okay.
Well, and actually I jumped it up because she averaged 208, so I said 225. And then 225 a month times 12.
And that's where you got that 2,700. Correct.
I'm sorry.
That's where you got the 2,700.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you take 325, and I think I did 316 because that's what the average gas prices were. That's about 71 gallons a month. So you want to change the usage, you can do that.
It looks like that with that Senate Bill 22, with that grant that we're gonna get. Supposedly. That we can use that. For equipment related to law enforcement for the sheriff's office and the constable's office.
That is something that whenever we receive those grant funds.
We're gonna have, we need to
We
do
can
an
do-
ARP thing and put it in a fund. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Cause that's like it's not gonna be here forever,
Right,
even though they say it is. It's the legislature.
yes.
Okay,
But that is something that if we do receive grant funds, we could do an amendment then. If
yes,
you receive new funds, then we can do an amendment.
yes, we
But
could.
once the actual budget is set, we can't do an amendment just because we run out of money.
But you can line item transfer though.
Yeah, if
That's what
there's
we've had to
another,
do for
yeah,
a few
yeah, yeah,
months in the
Yeah.
past.
yeah, we've
Yeah,
done
so
that.
like if she ran out of 2,700 wasn't enough fuel, but she still had a lot in, her.
Miscellaneous or
equipment
whatever,
maintenance, She
yeah,
could move,
We've
yes,
had to do.
but our budget policies say that you can't move out of fuel. So if
Right.
she's got $2,700 in fuel and doesn't use it, she can't move it to go buy a lot more.
right.
Alan did talk to me about it. He said he had looked into that bill and he said that it wouldn't apply to me and I don't know why. So if you don't mind, if you'll just look at it.
Yeah, that's what they told us yesterday in that risk
Oh,
management thing. Yeah, I was just reading it off of a slide. They
I don't
had
know why
upvoted
that's what
that.
he had told me.
Well, I don't think anybody knows because they haven't come out with the rules and won't until September.
I think for the salaries, it wouldn't apply for any of our, because.
No, we already meet the minimum.
Salary stuff,
Okay.
but for equipment and stuff, I
Yeah.
think it would.
Okay.
The salaries are already where they're at.
I'm good.
We don't have to use that grant money to bump our salaries up. Well, we could if we wanted to, but we've met the minimum. Hey, what else do y'all have for Angelica? So what do y'all want to do on the fuel? I personally would like to leave it at the recommendation of 2,700.
I lean towards that too. You can always put money into it. I mean, if we raise one, we're gonna have to raise all, and we need
Mhm.
the calculation for why we're doing it. And if we go above the amount and it's not used, you can't transfer it anywhere, but we can always meet here, because I think we did it for the sheriff's department last year.
We
When
did
when
it for every
running
department.
out, like, we can always put that money into it from the general fund.
Well. If we have a contingency line item, then we can move it from the contingency. If we don't have it in the contingency line item, then you can't amend the budget
It's got to actually be in the
unless you
budget.
declare it a public emergency.
Right.
I think that is though.
Well, it
And
could
and then
be.
we have, how we did it though, last time, or was that?
Well, no, we've never
Yeah,
done
we did
that.
because we didn't budget for the gas prices.
Right.
And so because of the extreme inflation, that's how we got.
That's why typically we would put an extra cushion on fuel because you can.
Well, and
prices.
my philosophy on cushion is to create that contingency line item and use that as the cushion for the entire general fund budget. Rather than each
Every
department
department.
cushioning their own budget. And that way, if she uses it, then that's fine. If she doesn't use it, then that's fine. But if she does and she gets to where she needs more, then we can address that if we need to. And that way,
If I understand
every
this-
line item is overinflated. And we just have one big cushion that we can distribute if need be.
And y'all said we can't pull from fuel,
I mean, she can't move it to her equipment line.
like a line item.
Yeah,
But
Can't do a
vice
lot.
versa, but she can do the opposite.
yeah.
She can move into field, she cannot move out.
Okay,
It's fuel is fuel.
yeah. I say we can shoot that one low and then add to it if needed.
Because by your calculations, it was saying like she averaged like 66.98 gallons each month, but you did add a little cushion in there to say 71 a month.
Right, yeah,
So-
because her average came out to like
20.
208 and I jumped it up to 225 in dollars. If you take the 225 divided by that fuel, you get 71 gallons.
US dollar.
Dollars, yes,
I mean, and
not pounds.
technically what we are budgeting for is for the constable's constitutional duties. The bailiff, the district, or the JP court, and to serve their papers. Or y'all, what do y'all want to do with the fuel? Need to make a decision. Leave it,
Yeah, I would just leave it.
add it
Discuss it with
Yeah.
everybody else.
I leave it.
for now.
I gotta use rest.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you so much.
Thank you. So just to recap, I want to make sure that I have all the changes. So we're moving the $600 from her cell phone line item into the computer support and maintenance to make it $2,400. We're adding the $500 line item for uniforms.
Yes.
And those are the only changes.
That, right?
Right.
What y'all,
Yeah, for now.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know that that's something regarding the grant application, trying to fund that.
That's Senate Bill 22. Is that what you're talking about?
I think he's talking about the investigator.
Oh,
Investigative thing, but-
oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna, we have another, this is a thing, on the here.
So how many are we down right now? 3?
Other than that, I really don't have any issues, with anything here. The only thing I did look over was we did notate we wanted to get 3 Josh this year. However, the budget could be
But what does a charger cost?
base price is probably around $32,000.
So 43. But you don't know why y'all only budgeted
I have
58?
no idea why this.
Okay. And can you tell me your thoughts on why we need chargers? Like, I just didn't think that seems like the most efficient vehicle for the department. I mean, I get if like you or people that aren't like the patrol deputies, I get that we're driving those because then they are easier to get, maybe a little cheaper to maintain. But I would just think that a pickup or a Tahoe or something like that would be better used as a patrol vehicle as opposed to a charger on the country
I
roads.
mean, we've got 3 in the fleet. We haven't yet got one stuck yet. Got any issues with it whatsoever in the last 2 years.
I'm gonna echo what I had said the first time we purchased those, and then you had mentioned that they're gonna be admin vehicles for those. That's an entirely different thing when it's patrol. I mean, there's a reason why the Texas Panhandle. Most deputies aren't driving around in Dodge Chargers around the Panhandle, so
Chargers on
that's good. Good.
Utilize.
So,
the last
I
2
think
years,
it's-
that's what's on
I mean, we can get a rundown of the invoices of repairs on them, because there's a lot of Tahoes that even on a lot of our patrol units have been tore up that are Tahoes, so I just think that's a terrible use of funds for our taxpayers. You're welcome.
I would not be. I don't think we need any more chargers. That's just my opinion.
So the commissioner's court decided what patrol vehicles the sheriff's office has now.
This empty.
Okay.
You have a big cut or.
Oh, hello.
In the season.
Where? What are we
On Thursday.
hearing? Oh, Oh, Siobhan's. Hold on, let me holler at her and tell her to mute herself. Oh. Hey, Siobhan, mute. Yeah, you were not on mute. We can hear you on talking. Oh. Well, I can't tell you, I guess, what kind of patrol vehicles to buy, but we can put some money in your budget. And I just don't think it's smart to buy Chargers. That's just my opinion. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I think it would be a better use of taxpayers' money to buy vehicles that are made to drive on country roads.
I agree.
I don't think that's a Charger. But I mean, I do get where this year, this is the year of if we go by what we've done in the past, we bought 3 one year and 2 the next. And so this would be the year that we would need to buy 2 vehicles. So we need to put something in the budget to get a couple of vehicles. Because we don't want to be to the point where next year we have to buy 5 vehicles. We don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of mileage these vehicles have on them, but might need to buy more than 2. I don't know.
Have y'all sent the mileage report in?
Do what?
I have not received it from Captain Hajal.
I think Laura said he was gonna get it in today, this morning.
Yeah, I talked to him Monday and he said he was just lacking 1 vehicle and he was supposed to get it to me, but I haven't seen it.
Okay. Maybe we'll get that today. And then we can kind of take a look at like our policy and what needs to be replaced.
So you said we do 2 and 3.
Well, that's what we've done in the past. One year we bought 3, the next year we bought 2, and then
Last year
3,
we
and then
did
2.
3.
We did 3.
So this year would be a 2.
Sure would be a 2.
How many vehicles are out of commission? I know we had that one rollover recently. Is it going to be where we have to raise it up to kind of supplement some of the ones that might be out of
Cause
commission?
like, I guess it was total. Was it
I
total?
don't know.
So,
Total.
there's frame damage.
Mhm.
Held up with.
So that would mean we probably have to get at least 3 this year.
Insurance should cover that one. Hope so,
I filed the claims
so they should be getting us.
Tuesday.
Well, I'll go back and look at it if I need to change things up. One other thing that I have is, you do have a part-time.
Oh, on the jail. Yes, I think Monica had sent in a,
I spoke with Amy. We did last week. $18,850 a year. For 29 hours a week at $12.50 an hour. We've had one the last few months. She's worked out very well. Very dependable.
so we have a person in mind,
We have one now.
Uh-huh.
Through the rest of this budget.
right?
And I would like to continue to keep her. She's interested in staying with us.
And the 92,166 that's in the Joe Cook line item is including that part-time person already.
Okay, right. I thought, yeah, we had already put that in there.
I just use her for 24 hours a week instead of the 29. Letting her work 3 8-hour days a week.
Okay,
It's worked out well. If you can't guarantee somebody at least that, nobody's gonna stay in that position.
right.
It's just for the amount of hours and the amount of pay.
Monica, was there anything else on the recommended budget that we submitted to y'all after you submitted yours that you needed to comment on, or was that the only thing?
I think on the jail side, it's stuff that we can work with.
Has Dr. Weber mentioned anything on his?
I have reached out to him several times. I started in May to ask him, are you going to ask for an increase? And he never submitted anything, so I'm assuming we're staying. as we were.
So I guess if he doesn't submit it before October 1, he gets what we have budgeted.
And he doesn't ask for a raise every year.
No, it's been a couple years, so, and before that, it was a few years.
Yes,
So,
so I mean, I'm not gonna be shocked if he doesn't ask for one this year. He may wait, until the next year.
Right. okay, any questions?
And I was gonna say this last time, I forgot to tell Monica, I just wanted to thank her for the comp time issues that we had that she did handle really well and getting that down in very quick department.
If that jail position is approved, is that something, can she just stay on right along as she is? Or is that something that we have to, is there a process?
I don't think that there's a process. We just have to. So
we-
her pay will change a little bit. Because as a permanent part-time employee, she will have to pay into the retirement system. As a temporary, she does not right now. She's just paying Social Security and Medicare. So her check is gonna go down, which is the 7%,
But she'll have retirement.
Yeah,
but it'll go.
it'll go into retirement,
I believe.
which that's already, Lisa already put that in this recommended budget, so it's in there.
Yes.
If-
Yeah.
If nobody says take it out, then
It's kind of needed. For sure.
yes,
For-
definitely. And that we actually have someone in that position already is beneficial.
She has been awesome.
Yes.
I would appreciate if I could go back and tell her she is a permanent fixture.
Right. As of October 1.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm glad she's working out.
Okay, anybody have anything else for the sheriff?
Like some clarification on the investigator. So in the budget, the way that it is budgeted now, it is moving that investigator back to a deputy salary. Because we didn't receive the grant.
Right. Okay, so this is my thought on that. If we get the grant funds, which that Senate Bill 22, we can use that to fund an investigator. We could use that for a year to fund that. But I don't think that will be until January 1. From what I understand, they don't expect us to get those grant funds until January 1.
At least.
So, and
it's still
then,
unclear too, whether they will be paying for the benefits, retirement. and stuff.
right, yeah, we don't know any of that. Yeah, so.
I've heard both sides that
To be
would, and I've heard
determined,
that they
yeah.
wouldn't. So even if you do make a salary, the county may still be on the hook for the retirement taxes. Insurance, all of that.
So that's a thought that we could do that with those grant funds, and then hopefully we'll be eligible for the grant, even though I know that reduces every year. We would at least be eligible for those, hopefully, those grant funds after. So if y'all wanted to use part of that grant money for that, we could fund that investigator through that and then hopefully pick that
And
up.
the other option too is, like he said, he's got 3 vacants. So you could move to cover the salary of the investigator from the existing deputy's salary line item. And then he just wouldn't have those positions anymore. So he would reduce the number of deputies to get the investigation. Just another scenario.
Yeah, I just hate to reduce our number of deputies. And I realize when we approved that investigator position. That was like adding another person. We did that on a grant, which every year the county picks up a little more of the tab, so the grant's reduced. But that wasn't, we didn't get that information in timely, and so we didn't get funded for the grant for next year. Right? Isn't that right, Sheriff? So we've got to either figure out a way to fund that or just roll that back into a deputy position.
It's up in October, correct?
September.
Yeah, the end of September, because October 1st is on.
We had to do that, waiting for the other funding. We could float it with another one of the deputies for 4 or 5 months until the grant money came into.
Supposed to be here January 1. Yeah, so I guess from October, November,
Well, that's when
December.
the application process is supposed to open.
They said the money's supposed to be here yesterday because they said January. I'll believe it when I see it. We actually get the check, I guess. I
On my
believe.
list there, but.
So we got approved for the grant?
Well, we gotta apply for it first, but
No, it's
yeah,
different grants, different grant.
Oh, a different.
yeah,
grant.
this is that Senate Bill 22.
Oh, okay,
Supposedly,
sorry.
everybody that applies
I
for
was
it's gonna get.
confused.
Counties our size, $350,000.
$1,000 for.
It's a
constable
new
sheriff.
law that they put
Yeah.
into effect. Senate
Okay.
Bill.
Yeah, okay.
Which again, we don't know what the rules are.
Yeah, we meet all the requirements.
so-
This and that.
Just plain devil's advocate. What if we don't get the funding from the grant until say May?
Right.
And are you gonna be able to fund at this $60,000 salary for the investigator plus benefits out of your deputy? I mean, who's gonna keep?
Yeah, I think one deputy's probably. We got 3 of them, so one deputy.
So you could
One
just,
deputy salary is only 59 plus benefits, and this investigator's at 60. She's at a sergeant, I think,
6180.
60 something, so that's not enough to cover it. I mean, if you don't fill multiple.
right, you'd have to not fill
Yeah,
two.
You know what I'm saying?
But if we got the money, then we could still fill. Yeah, it's just, that's a guessing game.
I just don't want it to get to January, we don't have the funds, and so now
Right.
you have to get a pay cut because
We don't have the
you
money.
don't have the money. And you went from investigator salary down to deputy salary. So I think we need to plan for the entire year.
Yes,
And then if we get grant funds, then that would be fantastic.
we could offset that, with the,
And then the rest just, it just rolls into fund balance or whatever. I think it would be more beneficial to budget like you're not going to get the money and then be pleasantly surprised rather than
I agree.
extremely disappointed.
Yeah, I don't.
Just because I know that we have to wait for the comptroller to come up with processes on applications.
They gotta come up with the rules. They haven't even done that
They haven't
yet.
even done that.
I think it's more important to have someone on the street.
So,
Somebody likes taking calls. So if we have to put her back in, drop it in, throw it a bit.
And which that is how the budget presents right now,
right.
is she has gone to a deputy salary instead of the investigator salary.
Okay.
For whoever.
So do y'all want to leave it like that or
Good with that.
bump the salary line item up to continue her as a investigator only? Leave it? Okay. Right. Anything else, Sheriff, on your budget?
That should be it. Everything's.
What do you think, Ben? You can vote on this.
What?
What are your thoughts?
I've none on this.
So no changes on the sheriff or the jail. Until we decide on patrol cars.
Right. Can you get us some numbers on?
I'll go in some more numbers. I'll talk to Chief.
Okay,
I'll talk to him.
maybe you know, as soon as possible since we're, okay, great, perfect. Thank you. Mark? Yeah, are you in the middle of something?
No, I've completed everything I need to do this morning, so.
Okay. Oh, well, do you want to address yours?
Yes.
Real quick.
Thank you much as anything. I guess I'm here for questions. We didn't make any, we moved one item to another item, a little bit of dollars. Other than that, we made no changes. There are some salary changes that's going to be with a position change I'm going to have come next year. That already.
And that is included in the budget already. He requested to add 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks of salary into the salary or secretary 2 position.
Right.
So I calculated that as of the current salary, so, you know, came up with a weekly rate, times it by 3. And so I added $2,336 into that line item.
And of all the positions in my office, it's the only one that I'm going to probably need that type of carryover. 'Cause
Right.
A lot of things that TD does, I don't know how she does it. So gotta have that training. And the same thing when I hired TD 7 years ago. She was in 3 weeks prior to my previous veteran coordinator. Other than that, I'm hoping one of more simple meetings today, maybe.
It hasn't been too bad so far.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see anything other than what you just explained, so.
Okay.
And I seen a decrease of 4,000, so. Right?
Yeah.
Did I look at that correctly?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
that is because I moved Odyssey out of
Oh,
the
okay.
department and put it into IT.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a decrease.
That's not something I can say I did.
It's hard to
But
how much is yours and how much is yours because so many people.
Well, and that's something that I'm glad you did. It should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because they don't even know how to budget for they don't ever see the invoice, nothing, so it just got moved to IT.
Okay.
Okay. No
Thank you.
questions?
Thank you, Mark.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Leslie. Judge Ford. You've been busy this morning.
This is the place of the JP that got out of bed at 5:30 this morning, sorry. But ran up here, so
Everything done?
everything's done. We released about.
Highways open?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have anything on yours? You got your recommended. Did you have anything after you saw your recommended?
No, I don't have anything. I didn't really change anything. Everything's been going this for so far, we still have through September. But so far, this has been better year than 22.
Right, yeah, spent $49,000.
Today was not a very good day and.
But you had to do autopsy.
Yes. No, I'm doing toxicology.
Oh.
And that's one thing that I haven't done a toxicology in a while. I do know that those are going up. Alicia, I don't know. I mean, they were about $800. I don't know if they're going over that PO
Okay,
yet. And I won't know until I get the
That's
bills.
fine.
Right.
that's,
Apologies if it is over that. I will do a PO with, or however.
and it's fine. Since it's a service that you can't really
Right,
estimate until you know.
right.
So-
And and everything has gone up as far as our transportation by Schaefer's. And autopsies have.
That all comes out of the autopsy line item though, right?
Yes, and them holding on to. The decedent somehow. Yeah. The process had changed a little. So, they should be getting us a new sheet, I would assume, on cross sheet. It just kind of varies, especially gas and.
Right.
And Schaefer's, but
So on that contract stuff that we had talked about, that you were talking about different options and stuff.
Yes.
Are you happy with like the timing and pricing and everything?
yes,
What you did?
they're within $200 of each other. And actually, I use both, but one of the places is just a little bit faster on results.
But you're getting everything you needed, you
Yes.
wanted to, good.
Yes, yes, and I do appreciate that because having two choices, because they service, those two medical examiner offices in Lubbock are the closest to us. They service the whole panhandle, New
Mhm.
Mexico, even some of Oklahoma. I mean, they get them from all over, so it's, at times it is, they are booked on that for quite some time, but it's nice to, if one is a little bit more busy, that I can go to the other one. And it helps the decedent's family get answers sooner. It lets them move on in the grieving process a lot faster. You know, my vital statistics I have to put in and everything, so it just helps Hutchinson County and the people that we were voted to serve, so.
Okay.
If you've ever been out on one of those, you want to get them answers as soon as possible, because it's just, it's a tough thing. The prayer list grows.
Yeah, I have no envy of the job you do. I appreciate, I don't know how you guys do it. I appreciate you. being-
You truly have to love it.
Yeah.
I don't see how anyone that didn't look forward to going to work or didn't like what they were doing could do that. It's,
Well, I certainly appreciate y'all because I've talked to some of my judge friends whose JPs are not nearly as taking care of their jobs and prompt, and so I appreciate y'all.
thank you. Thank you. And
Y'all, you and Amanda both do a great job.
she's doing excellent.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, anything else on JP1 that y'all saw, or anything else you needed to comment about? Judge Ford?
I don't think there is. I know this year there will be training. I left my training as it is. There will be training that Melissa will be going to. With me being on the education committee right now, mine is taken care of through the state, but I'd like to keep that. Also this year, we are hosting the 2024 West Texas JPCA.
Which I think is super for
And-
order.
So that expenditure won't be there this year, but next year it will be back. The
Right.
only reason is because we're having it here and we stay at home.
Right.
Is that the dome?
Yes, we're having it at the Dome, and we've got some exciting
Cool.
things lined up for activities and everything, so we're expecting.
It brings in a number of people to town
We're
for
expecting
a week,
100 to 150 possibly.
so.
And we've got the hotels on board, and the Border Chamber of Commerce is working with us, and the city of Border has helped with some grants and.
Tourism funds.
They're working
Good.
very well. They're excited. that
Yeah.
It's the first time a small county is hosting
Yeah.
this event. It's usually in bigger cities like
Amarillo, Lubbock.
Lubbock, Wichita Falls.
Wichita Falls,
So this is the first time a rural county is getting it.
So why, or how, or why, like, why us? Like,
Leslie bid on it.
I did, okay, so I have a problem with taking on more than my fair share of a load. I can't say no. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do whatever you get. My husband keeps telling me, you're gonna have to say no sometime, but
not today.
we were at Lubbock and there wasn't anyone really there to bid, and Lubbock was this was the first year there were some issues. And we were sitting there, Judge Wasson and I were sitting there, and she kind of mentioned it'd be kind of neat if we could get something, because we've got a lot to offer here in Hutchinson County. We've got some neat things to see and do.
Well, and we've got the
Yeah.
dome now, which is
Yeah,
so
and
nice.
that's what I
Yeah,
said. We've got the dome.
great
that would be
facility
great
and
for meetings, great for our banquet and everything, and try to showcase our small county, that we can rival those big counties too. We have some neat things to offer people. So we've got the dome on board. We've got some ranches on board. And it'll be a fun event. The constable side, I think they're gonna do some qualifying.
awesome.
Do some good events to pull the constables up, but I may be quoting this wrong, it just went out of my head, but it's over 100 counties in West Texas. As y'all No, you'll probably do.
Yeah, we have 119 in West Texas judges and commissioners.
So it's,
So it's close to
yeah,
that.
it's right there.
One of the,
And-
just like their association for the JPs and constables is the largest across the
It's
state.
the largest
It's West
JPA
Texas.
subdivision of JPCA. And so we're hoping that we have a good attendance and bring a lot of people in and show what we got.
Good job. When's it gonna be?
It'll be April, I believe it's
Last year, y'all were in Lubbock the same time we were.
yes, we were in Lubbock at the same
Oh,
time.
yeah,
It's,
that's right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the exact dates. Let me get into my calendar. So if you ever see me on my phone, it's usually looking at my calendar because if it's not in my phone, it doesn't exist. It will be April 22nd through 25th.
I think that's when our West Texas is, Amarillo.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we're working, so.
That's awesome.
Got a lot coming.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm glad
Busy
y'all did
year.
that. That's cool.
It's cool.
and all the activities and everything, so.
Good.
Hopefully, 2024 will be just as good as.
Awesome.
I do have one question.
Uh-huh.
One weird thing. We were talking about the lower the dues from 415 to 200 because it was a lifetime membership.
Yes.
So do we,
yes.
can it be zero or are we paying something this year?
No, so I pay into JPCA, Melissa and I both pay into JPCA, the umbrella. West Texas JPCA, I am a lifetime member, so I do not have to pay
Okay.
that one anymore.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what the dues are gonna be when they come in. There's probably be around that. If not, I'll pull it from a miscellaneous line or something. We'll get it covered, but it should be good.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think about the two.
No, my lifetime is for West Texas
I got
JPCA. But Melissa still has to do JPCA and West Texas, and I just do JPCA.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And he gets more water.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
Get some rest.
I'm going home to babysit two toddlers, so.
Oh, yay. Well, no rest for you.
No,
Rest
that's
for
for
you.
you. Didn't.
It's a shame Ruby and Amarillo. Maybe we can swing by.
I know, something.
help
Yeah.
Or something.
I'll go.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
We'll probably be out of town, but if you need anything going up to, I can't speak for.
Yeah.
but just
So
let
what?
us- Like if
If
you
you-
need help doing anything,
Okay.
I just reach
Yeah.
out.
Let us
I
know.
figured you'll, yeah. I like that. I mean, it's.
Leading up to it for sure, but if we might be in, Amarillo that week, but anything else.
Well,
let
we've
us know.
got, right now, we're in talks with, the 4-6s and or not the, Kentucky Trot. About a night here.
Barbecue, chuck wagon.
Um,
Might have to-
I know, that's what I'm saying, y'all probably want to come back.
Right? Yeah.
Make sure we'll get with Judge and make sure it's not the same state night that we have.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
I know. It was great this last one in Lubbock that I was at. Every night, our vendors were taking us to eat and I had steak 3 nights in a row and it was glorious.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thanks. Okay. Emergency management.
Pretty simple this year. Thank goodness. The only question I had on mine was something I already answered, which answered with the fuel, because the number was significantly lower. Right now, I did some research on the wildfire prediction. Right now, we're probably looking in the springtime between 9 and 11 tons per acre. That's that's looking in the 2011 timeframe in wildfire prediction, when we're looking at the years of 2011 wildfires we had. So it's kind of like trying to predict the future. If I'm going to be really busy, because this is the last one, we had a lot of rain. It did slow down wildfire response slowed down quite a bit. This next one, if we don't get the rain, but we have the growth, tons per acre, we usually get larger wildfires that spread a lot faster. We usually have a little more of an issue with that. So it's going to be more response. But if we do have the fuel availability and contingency, where if we did hit that mark and could move some later on, I don't see the issue with that. That was my only concern. The two things that I did add for this was, or add into the equipment side was the two Model N30 Motorola radios. Those were currently, all of the radios are checked out. I don't have any spares. So if we did have, like we had an issue where we had one I had to send off for a warranty on a screen and a mic or a microphone. So I had to send it in. So I had to kind of rob somebody to give them a radio until I could get that one back in warranty. And the Model N30 radio is actually a new radio. The Motorola came out with. It doesn't have as many bells and whistles as the one that we had before. So it kind of takes it down a notch, makes it a little bit cheaper. So it'd be able to get onto our new system. I'd be able to check it out to somebody and they'd be able to use it on the new system, at least until I got the one I don't need the radio. And I might even try to see if I can poach two radios that maybe people don't use as much as with the kind of that we have now. Maybe I can switch those out and even have the two or other radios available. Normally, it's going to be sheriff's office or constables or something like that, the ones that are out and about and somebody is either running and drops one or something like that, cracks a screen, breaks some mics. But I wanted to have those two in the two. If I want to go to one, I can do one, whatever. I wanted to have two in my pocket just in case we need to check one out. And then the other is our Stinnett tower. I did get a lightning strike on that camera, and we use those cameras very often on storm spotting and fire spotting. They're on our county camera network. We did have a lightning strike, which fried this one. I budgeted for it last year to replace this one. And we ended up having a worse lightning strike out at the lake and fried that one. So I took this camera, we replaced the one at the lake because we actually use that one a little bit more than this one. We got that one operational, it's up and running, but now I still don't have one for this Stinnett tower. So I wanted to try to get that replaced this year's budget. Those are the only two things that I had.
Okay. And those budget requests are already in the recommended budget, right, Lisa? Yeah. So, any questions for Jerry?
I don't know.
Thank you, sir. Okay. On my budget, what the recommended budget's fine. I don't think we made any changes. Alicia took the computer stuff out and left everything else the same pretty much.
I was gonna ask, this doesn't have anything really to do with your budget, but so when Jones, when Craig was talking, he was talking about the copier. When we entered into that contract with Benchmark, is that them also?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's gonna be everybody, but I have not gotten a bill for the whole thing yet.
Oh, okay.
But as soon as I do, then we will be updating the copier line items to make sure that they cover.
Okay.
Everybody has the right
I
amount.
didn't want to say anything because I didn't know if he was part of the Benchmark
Yes.
stuff also.
Yes.
Okay.
And I emailed Shannon.
Yeah.
I emailed her, but I never heard anything from her to see if she could get me a copy.
Okay.
Before it actually came
If
out.
you remind me, I'll
Okay.
call her at her.
Okay.
Because he was mentioning he didn't have the taxes in there, but we
I know.
have a different contract.
Yeah, there's four that got new machines.
Yes.
And so I know that theirs are gonna be up because they got newer machines.
Right, but they were due to have new machines
Right,
anyway,
right.
so,
Their
Yeah.
contracts are almost up. So
Yeah. okay, so
it is on my radar.
84th District Court, Judge Brancho's in jury trial this week, and he said he'd get with me on his budget. And,
What was the question when he's kind of like Mark Snyder, right? He's got a employee that's retiring.
yes,
And so.
do we have Jan's?
Yes.
We have it in there?
Her vacation is budgeted
Okay,
at 4,072.
I knew we didn't last time. We didn't.
All of his salary has been adjusted for that change for Teely moving over. to-
Okay, that's really all I know. I figured it
He was the
was.
one that's gonna move over there and take Jan's position.
Okay, so she's going to Mark's.
No, she's leaving Mark's
Mark's
and going to
to
the
branches.
branches. Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
all right, that's,
Retiring.
Yeah.
yes, so Miss Jan's retiring. Okay. I was kind of confused on how all that was going, but that's my only question on that one was.
hey, the only person that was scheduled today that I've heard nothing from is our constable precinct 1. Not a word.
He's on vacation.
Yeah, he's on vacation. But I mean, he wasn't prior to us sending this information out. And so he hasn't said, yes, my budget looks good. No, my budget doesn't look good. I don't know what his thoughts are, but I can tell you guys what I would like to see happen, but I don't know. I mean, I know this is a process and this is just the thought I'm rolling around in my head is to eliminate that position, Constable Precinct 1. There's a process you have to go through. It's like a 7-year process. And we would have to basically, I'm gonna have to research this a little bit, but I know it takes 7 years of the office being vacant. And so you would have to basically take the budget away from that office and the salary and everything. So I guess if someone wanted to file for that position with,
Doing it for free.
yeah. Yeah. But, and then after 7 years, we can abolish the office. Then our Constable Precinct 2, we could up the salary to countywide more, like that 59,000 or whatever that base pay for the deputy was. And she would be responsible, or he or she, whoever was the constable for precinct 2, would be responsible for the full county then. So serving papers for both JPs, bailiff in both JP's courts. And I think it could be done. There might be some scheduling issues, like the judge needs to know that on Mondays and Wednesdays, the constable will be there, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, constable's going to be in the other court. That's my thought on that position.
Well, maybe it was just we talked about this, didn't we, about dissolving that position? Or was that just?
No, we talked, but I didn't know what the process was, but I know there's
Oh,
a
okay.
7-year process.
Oh, okay.
It has to
We
be
just didn't
vacant,
do any.
has to be
I didn't do
vacant
any
for 7
legwork
years.
on it.
Well, I never thought about, like, we had talked about that, but like, there's always gonna be somebody who would file. I didn't think about if you just wipe that budget.
Well, I mean, if you look
I mean-
in the salary thing, there's a lot of counties our size that don't even have constables at all, period. They don't have constables. But then there are some, wait, that's JP's. Let me look. Okay, counties our size from 10 to 24,999. So there's a number of that don't have constables. But then there's one county, Dawson County, they pay their constable $5. I mean, obviously, I don't know if someone actually files for a $5 job. I don't know. They don't have any constables in Des Smith. They don't have any constables in Lamb County. They don't have any constables in Moore County. None in Scurry County. So. Anyway, that's a thought. What do y'all think?
I can only go by what I see on fuel reports and residents telling me, but I mean, we have one full-time constable and we have one almost part-time constable. I mean, and you can't, in my opinion, you can't extrapolate the future, but if Angelica or whoever is that, and they get some part-time reserves on that side, they can almost do the job of the part-time constable in that department, like funnel it through one department.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, last year, talking with some of the people that came to court, and I did go on record and said, you agreed to do this work for this amount, and then whatever you did extra, you did that for the
Mhm.
same price. And so, I mean, I do have.
When they knew what the job was,
Exactly.
when. And
I
what
don't-
paid.
But I do have a problem with two constables making the same amount when one is doing a lot more and the other one's not so much.
I don't want to abolish or do away with a office if it's needed. Not based on the person, but if it's
Right.
needed. But if we don't have a need for a constable one, then that makes sense. But if, I mean, to base it on a person, whether they perform or not, it's really boiled down to a need. Does Hutchinson County need
Two constables.
That's really where it is. It's not so much.
If that were the case and we just had one, then the constable would really only do their constitutional duties. And that would be to bailiff JP court and to serve JP's papers. You know, they wouldn't have time to do anything else.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have time to
Patrol.
patrol or, answer calls. It just would be busy being the constable.
What's sad is I don't know enough about what they do, honestly, the day-to-day operation. I know what the paperwork says, but I don't know.
I just don't like if somebody's not showing up this much or whatever, and the other one does a good job. I wouldn't want to use that as a basis to eliminate a position.
Yeah,
Right,
There's two totally separate things.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
And so
And
if we
my
don't need to, that's one discussion.
Yeah.
That's fine. But
my thoughts were not based on that necessarily, but just could we make just one position where that is their primary duty to serve the JP courts?
as long as we keep it two separate things we're talking about,
Yes,
I'm open
absolutely.
for discussion.
me too.
Now, I probably worded it wrong on my end if you're talking about me, but I meant like workload. Like we have one that's not needed
Yeah,
to do
and,
a lot of
and
the workload.
our,
One-
our JPs do two different workloads.
Right.
It's just JP one does 90% of the evictions where JP two doesn't, but that's just the way the territory falls. The makeup of their territory. So it's not,
So in the
doesn't have
past-
anything to do with work.
In the past, I mean, honestly, y'all been here, or you've been here longer than any of us. Is there, and you actually worked in the system, was there a need for a constable one? Or two constables, I mean, not constable one, but two constables in the past?
Well, I mean, I think it would depend on who you ask. I think I think our JPs are gonna not totally be sold on this idea because they like having their constables at their disposal. So if Judge Ford has a eviction paper, and those have to be served in a timely manner because there's some time frames for setting out hearings. And so if they were busy in the JP2 court doing truancy and they couldn't get the papers served, that could be an issue. But that's why I think the school needs to provide officers come to court.
Because my biggest worry is if we were to dissolve a position and then later on down the road, they're like, man, I'm not.
I think this has
So
some
is that
pretty serious
something,
thought.
if you did abolish that office and there was only one constable and the need arose for more than one body, could the constable hire like a deputy to?
Like a part-time
Yeah.
deputy,
They could be-
I think that's
They could be anything.
just to serve papers
Yeah.
or just,
That's
yeah.
what she was talking about.
Yes, I think that would be totally reasonable. And instead of having two full-time elected officials, you have one full-time elected with, if the workload got to the point where they needed help with serving papers, then she could have a deputy, he or she.
So could we say, like, let's go ahead and have one this year, but we will watch it? And
Give it a year,
Well,
look at it.
yeah,
I agree.
so this is the year that a constable will file, okay? So in November through December, if we don't make any changes, someone will file for constable precinct.
so
And
this,
so for 4 years, we are locked in.
Okay, that's what you're saying. So
Well,
someone.
But we have to,
Necessarily.
we're gonna have to make a decision now, if we're going to try to move towards the one constable position.
Well, they're not locked in now, though, you're saying.
We have
What would be-
we have a salary and a budget for our constable precinct 1.
But they wouldn't be any more locked in after they're voted.
But if we didn't know, if we no longer had a budget and the salary was like $1, who's gonna spend whatever the filing fee is, $375?
$750.
Yeah.
That's not that much
There's
for
a cheaper-
constable. Yeah, it's cheaper because they're only,
No, I'm just
I
joking.
thought it was,
I think it's cheaper, but I could look.
Okay.
and we're not even locked in next year, but we just look like idiots to let somebody run for an office.
Yeah, and then not give them, I mean, there would be nothing right about that.
Right.
It wouldn't be right.
I mean, I think we need to talk, I mean, we need to bring in more people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, that's-
I'm just throwing this out as an idea.
I'm not there, so.
I'm
Well,
just
yeah,
throwing
just
this out
doing it
as an
all.
idea,
Eliminated, it's not me.
but if we're going to do it, then it needs to happen before, it needs to happen before November. Well,
Right.
it's gonna have to happen in this budget. But if the budget remains exactly the same, then I can guarantee you there will be individuals who file for the constable position in November when the position is open.
That may be the best thing. I don't know, but I don't know enough about it, so.
Well, that's why I think, I mean, we can even go into executive session personnel with the constables and the JPs and just talk about it all. I mean, that's not something that we need to make just as a corp.
Yeah,
without-
absolutely.
We're not. I
Yeah,
don't
we
think-
definitely need more
yeah, I
information.
don't think we're making a decision today. I think.
No, I'm just throwing the idea out there so y'all can think about
And
it.
I'm all for it. I mean, if we can, not all for, I'm all for if we don't need.
The
it.
open discussion.
Yes,
Yes.
if we don't need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not if we're doing away with it, but
But-
if we don't need it, because
Right.
I hate waste.
But we might, like Chris said, need to get the people who are, and show us some numbers, show us what justifies 2 positions, show us what might not justify 2, we've got to have something to back that up before we make that
So I
decision.
think it's our responsibility to kind of
Yes,
And then,
analyze and look at stuff. Do we
Right.
need this? Is this necessary? Or is this just the way it's always been?
right.
and it's not, I mean, even if we. and
I mean, we used to have three.
I feel like I have a
4.
hair in my throat, so I have got to go get.
You're good.
You said how many JP?
3 or 4.
We did.
Yeah, way back, way back.
For me,
Yeah, way back.
I don't remember that.
And if we,
History book out.
in my perspective, we do that type of thing. It's not, I don't think it's so much eliminating that as moving it like a part-time.
To a full-time.
And like I said, I wouldn't.
And then you would
just think about
compensate that
people. I
person.
was talking about more workload of like
Right.
what's needed. And so, I mean, if that decision and what I'm looking at going forward is if we do make it a part-time, we would move possibly that current, if they're open to it, that current constable to a part-time under the other one. I mean, we have to make decisions of who's going to be what.
Right. I mean, there's a whole lot of
But-
factors to think
I mean,
about.
yeah.
One's gonna look after it. They're gonna decide who would be the part-time.
Right.
So that'd be their decision.
But November is when they file, so.
That and those baseline salaries are things we definitely need to
Yes,
talk about because of that for the election stuff.
so we need to get probably maybe on the 14th. We can have a discussion with the constables and the JPs and get some input from them. When we have our meeting on the 14th. Just kind of get some data, maybe.
I'm all about that. Surround yourself with people that know the
Yeah, absolutely.
office. Know.
I can't begin to say that I know what they do every day. I don't. Hey, what else do we need to talk about on budget, Alicia?
The only one that I wanted to point out is the fire protection where we have all the fire contracts. I also added the ambulance contract
Right,
as its own line item into that department. And I just wanted to.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that it was $119,034. That was 25% of the startup costs of getting it all done. Had we gone with the other option that was presented of paying for the AMR service for those 3 months, we would have been at 194,000. So we saved 75.
Good job, Lisa.
Big difference.
Good job. Yeah. Good job in looking at that.
Thank you for
Yes.
the expertise in that.
I know that y'all made the appropriate decision.
So, based on your recommendation. So thank you.
That's what
What
I'm nervous about. We paid 200,000 more than we would have.
Say on the fire contracts, nobody's came to me and asked me for any raises on that negotiating, so nobody's reached out to me.
So they're-
I don't,
Because they've been,
I know that Fritch isn't increasing.
They have not mentioned it. Do
Good. Didn't we raise some of that?
you know,
Just did it all.
on the SUA, on the radio, on the sheriff's side?
Yes, got included into the dispatch budget.
last year.
And the dispatch budget was up like $50,000.
From more than last year.
Yes,
That's
because
Kendra,
of the, yeah. the CPI
so I need to talk to y'all.
She's not here.
Oh,
And then I don't know if kind of hints on tax rates.
yeah, y'all had a chance to look over that?
Yeah.
All that info that she sent out?
Yeah, it was really good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was lots of
Makes
information.
it easy to.
I did a lot of different, if y'all have any other tax rate scenarios you would like me to do, or any other payroll scenarios that you would like me to do. Now it's pretty easy. I can just change the numbers and it calculates everything for me.
So this, all of this information is based on the salaries that you have inputted right now.
Yes.
Just current salaries and all of the recommended budgets that we have put in.
Yes,
So the changes we've
the
made,
changes you made today are not. I will.
right, we'll have to update
Yeah,
those,
I
but
will update those and send out a new one. I know, Ben, you want the spreadsheet version or do you want a PDF version?
Oh, I don't care which.
Okay.
This
I can
works,
send out
this works
either way.
fine.
Okay,
This is good, what we're using, or for me.
then I'll just. I like to send it out in a PDF because then you don't accidentally type a number and it, because if you miss up one number, it affects a whole lot of numbers in my spreadsheet, so. I don't want you to accidentally change a number and then you're looking at wrong information.
Yeah.
So any other, which I did, quite a bit.
I mean, we- yeah.
$100 a month, 300 at increments of 50, and then a 1, 2, 3, and 4% rate. And I didn't, our voter approved tax rate is like 59% or 59 cents.
right,
Yeah, 0.59, something.
Nonsense.
I didn't do anything over our adopted rate that
Right.
we have currently of it. But I did do a few, maybe lowering it a penny or two, but just remember if, tax or property values bottom out.
yes. We can only go up 3. I have to
Our
remember
property
that.
values never look like this. They always look like this. And we can only inch back up if you drop it too low, we can only ever inch back up.
So we're at 56 right now.
Y'all aren't ready probably to make a decision on that.
No, but it's really good
Yeah,
information.
Yeah, it's,
Information.
Great information to look at.
ponder.
Yeah.
well, last year I felt more informed when we had this meeting, and then this year I feel more, and it may just be because we're in it more, but I feel more confident.
Yeah.
Because of what you are doing.
We're a lot closer to being able to make those decisions than we were in the past. Like,
Oh, yeah.
all that
Open enrollment, so the way that I have budgeted for insurance is based on plans that people have currently. But just at the new rates.
Right.
So if you've got the 80-20 plan,
That
you
could
still
change
have
a little.
80-20 plan, but if they're gonna change, say to the HSA plan. we won't know that until open enrollment and. open
That's the
enrollment
15th.
ends- Well, they're gonna be here the 15th, but it actually ends on August the 31st.
Right. Most of our people will take care of it early, so we'll have that information early.
And I will stay with Amy to see, yeah, I got, everybody's done.
Yeah.
Or she's like.
Or we
"Oh,
still
we're
have some
waiting on
stragglers, yeah.
10 of them or
Yeah.
something like that. So I'll also keep in close contact with her to make sure that we can get that as close as possible.
Okay, do y'all have anything else you want to talk about today? Budget wise? This is a lot to digest. So we have a meeting.
And one more thing I wanted
Yes.
to bring to y'all's attention is the contingency line item.
Yes.
I kind of mentioned, kind of my philosophy is to have one budgeted line item where, we had 300,000 this year. But I mean, if we're going to budget a surplus, say our surplus is gonna be $700,000, based on this tax rate and these expenditures, rather than budgeting $700,000 of expenditure or fund balance, throw 500,000 into that contingency line item where only y'all have the authority to move it from that line item. So
So what did we have last year?
Three.
we had
300.
300,000, but we still put 500, we budgeted for like a $515,000 surplus. So we could have upped that to 500 and we would have the surplus would have gone down. If you don't use it, it just goes into fund balance, but you're not gonna be changing the tax rate. It's almost like you're getting closer to adopting a balanced budget.
Yeah.
But you're throwing all that surplus into one line item that you can use. You don't have.
We,
so that
we
you
wouldn't have to
increase
declare an
your
emergency budget,
You don't have to amend the budget because
Right.
you have it in the budget. It hasn't affected your tax rate. And it's not gonna affect your spending unless you decide that it's going to.
right, we would have to authorize the
Yeah.
use of those funds.
And we used it a couple of times, didn't we?
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
used it a couple of times. We'll be using it for the lawsuit, attorney fees. We did have to move some out for,
Have we
JP
budgeted for
fees.
that?
I'm sorry.
Have we budgeted for that lawsuit?
No,
Fees?
it'll be on my amendment because I've got to move
Right,
from contingency. But you were gonna get with Craig to see if he can
Yes.
get me an estimate on what
That's
we'll do
right.
for the rest of the year.
That's right. I've got that laying
So
on
we
my
only do-
desk.
We only have to do it one time.
Yes.
And so that's kind of my philosophy on the contingency line item. I'm not saying you have to adopt a balanced budget, but you can, throw something in that contingency line item where you're not dedicating it all to surplus and you can't use it without declaring an emergency.
Right.
And then that way we don't
Department's
overlay each
budget.
department's budget.
Can you make us a list of what qualifies for emergency? What is the verse?
The statute,
That is up
What's
to the
what's
board.
allowed?
That is up to the.
but I think it specifies some things
Yeah, and I think that it says that it has to be
like a natural disaster, like
public,
public, there's some things that the statute specifies
yes.
like that. We're beyond our control. And we don't have the money.
That's what's the list.
Yeah.
So that's for emergency,
To amend the,
Amendment,
yeah.
yes.
are you
Put
asking
it in
for
the
that or what would?
contingency
Well, and that the contingency fund, what
If
It has to
we
come
want to use it for.
that would be up
Up
to
to
make that
us.
a
We
policy.
need to make a list.
Yeah.
What we can use it for.
I don't know.
But then
I'm not really in.
you're pigeonholed.
Yeah,
So if something does happen, that's
That's-
not on the list.
That's great.
So, like,
just for
I would
unexpected, but-
say.
Yeah, that's what it would
For
be.
stuff that
Oh,
slipped through the cracks, that
Right.
should have been budgeted for, that did not get budgeted for, like that SUA thing that we didn't know about.
Right, that, it just happens.
Yes.
It happens.
Court-appointed attorney fees,
Mhm.
you never know what they're gonna be, lawsuit.
I mean, it
legal
could be,
stuff, you
we
never
have
know what
a
that's gonna
capital
be.
murder trial or something.
Yes,
That's,
we could have a murder trial.
that we didn't
Thank
budget
goodness
for.
that we, may not thank
I mean,
goodness, but it didn't happen in our county, so we're not having to worry about that this time.
But it's not like, oh, I need a new computer.
No,
I like,
no.
Oh,
No,
No, no, no.
yeah, I mean,
It would have to be something.
but say we had a
extraordinary.
cybersecurity attack and we had to replace some computers.
Yes.
I'm not,
Could be,
I like it for backup for unexpected that you couldn't predict, and that's
Yeah.
great, but
Yes,
I don't like it for,
not day to day.
Yeah, if
I'll
you-
tell you, I don't
And I
like it for
don't
the
think that
fuel
it should be
thing. I
used
think
for
that's a
fuel
horrible
either,
idea.
that I ran my car here and there and everywhere and I ran out of fuel money. You know, if they can justify, you know, I can show you, I went this many miles.
And
this
they were
amount, and
actually called
provide
out,
data.
not they were responding because they self-responded. They were actually
Oh.
called out.
And so there has to be some sort of, I mean, it can't just be an open door, because then you're just making your budget bigger. I mean, it has to be an actual contingency that could not have been planned for otherwise.
No.
And that's where I would be.
And we make the decision.
Well, the cost of fuel emergency. I mean, if it
The
would
cost of
really
fuel
go
is one
up.
thing, but.
Yeah, and that's something, you know, right
You
now
don't
we're
know.
budgeting at 315, 325 or whatever, and next year it could go back up to 450 a gallon.
Right.
That would be something.
That we didn't expect.
And instead of doing an actual budget amendment, you would just do a line item transfer from that contingency line item and say, hey, fuel prices are nuts. You get this much money extra because of the fuel prices.
Yeah, you just don't know.
Right.
Okay.
I know something I wanted to talk to y'all about. We're having this conversation about contingency and stuff. So we have a huge, in the risk management conference that was yesterday, and by the way, it was great. And I wish everyone could have been there because they gave us some really great information. And I was surprised that there weren't very many people there, but yes, you were. And anyway, so what do y'all think about budgeting for comp time and paying that out? Say, so we don't have a $14,000 comp time when someone leaves.
Yeah, that's.
Well, there are some
That's
people that
overtime.
they
That's
comp
okay,
time, and then whatever you've got at the end of the budget year, that gets paid out. And then so you start out at zero.
Right.
And
Or
then you-
I think they were just throwing out some scenarios yesterday. And I think that they were talking about paying like quarterly or maybe even monthly. I don't know about a month, but maybe quarterly comp time.
Does it come out of
I
the
can see
department
where
head
it'll be
salaries?
huge.
I can, there would have to be some, because Jerry and I had a conversation about this, and there would have to be some guidelines.
Oversight.
I
Yes,
think it's not a decision that needs to be made off the cuff.
No, definitely not. It'd have to take a lot of,
Plan
that's-
over this next year and throw that into a next year kind of
something we need to
budget.
think about. Yes, to maybe start budgeting for that with some really serious and guidelines.
Why?
Well, because we've done that before. And just like y'all said, when the employee knew they got free money, all of a sudden our comp time went up. It went up really fast.
I don't.
And so right now they get nothing other than their time off. And so,
But when they leave, they get a big old fat.
and that's why the
paycheck.
department heads.
That's why we got a
we need
40-hour
to hold our department heads accountable.
But it also comes out of their budget to where they are kind of penalized because they can't fill
Yeah,
the
They
spot.
had to figure out how to pay.
But yeah, like, I mean, if you put just a cushion in there, then there's gonna be a lot of people that they'll do it just because they can.
And we saw it in the city of Fritz, because we moved from paying overtime to comp time. And then someone said, well, why don't we do the pay it out so we don't have all this comp time buildup? And oh my goodness, people's like, oh, this is extra money. That's extra money.
Right.
It's out of other places, but I don't think it'll work.
Yeah, it didn't work for.
I don't think it'll work.
It didn't work for, I don't know what Fritz is doing now, but they went back to, no, it's just how.
I mean, I'd have
It's
to
just-
talk to some people with more specifics that were talking about paying that out and what their guidelines were.
Now, if the department head said, we're only gonna have, what, $25,000 payout? And then that meant they have to operate under that. But it still
Well,
comes out of their
is it-
salary.
Is the law, or did we set that comp time? You can't get over so many hours comp time and then we have to pay it out like 400 and some,
For the sheriff's department,
Yeah.
it is a law.
it's a law.
You
They
hit a
can't,
certain- They
that-
can't get more than so many hours of comp time, and then you have to pay it out back down to that 480.
480, yeah, something like that. I didn't know if that was something we put in there, or if that was
That
actually
is
the
a-
law.
That's the law. But regular employees, there is no cap.
Right.
You just
But-
have to let it accrue at a time and a half. So if you get 1 hour of comp time, you have to pay them at
Time and a half.
or they get an hour and a half off.
That'll always be a problem.
But whenever it's paid out, it comes out of their salaries.
The line item.
Yeah,
Yes.
line item salary.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
So-
has to come from there.
So it's still hitting the departments. If they have a
It's-
lot of comp time, it will take an employee that you could have paid. Now I don't have that salary because of comp time. So
Right.
right now, the way it's set up is pretty,
Well, what do you do when you've got a full staff and then you've got someone that leaves that you have to pay
You
14,000?
replace the
Just
one
manage.
that left.
Oh, that left until you've,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
recoup
till
that. I
you
got,
recoup
okay, I
it.
got you, yeah.
You just have to manage it
That's
correctly.
not a problem. That's just management. How do you
Yeah,
manage your
exactly.
department?
It's just-
If it's poor management, it's gonna be a problem. You got good management, you don't have a problem.
Exactly.
So
That's what I'm saying, like Monica, yeah, when we said there's an issue, she worked on it. I mean, she knocked it
She
out
did a great
and
job.
she.
And
that's
it's
what-
hard to probably manage it when you're down 3 deputies.
typically, you
Can though,
keep your
if
comp
they'll
time down and, a guy needs to take a day off now and then. Okay, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But when you need to take off 60 days off we got a big problem.
And that's where, I mean, the elected officials and department heads, if there's an issue with short staffing and stuff, they have to look at their scheduling. Like if they need to change the schedule to fix what they can, I mean, I think.
We put on policies in
I
place.
agree with
what to
Ben.
do.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's
It's
gonna.
still dependent on management of the department. head.
yeah, exactly.
And if it don't work, it don't work.
That's right.
And that's.
I don't care what
if it doesn't
policy
work-
says.
If it doesn't work, you punish them in their salary line item because
So-
we're out of their direct salary.
It's just-
I agree.
The whole thing is management.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Okay, what else? What else on the budget?
So I know she'll be here next time, but we do need to talk about the library director base salary at some point.
Oh, yes, we do.
When we presented that to Nancy, we weren't told that the base salary was gonna be, with all the other things, were gonna be less than her right hand.
Yeah, so she makes less than the assistant.
So we do need to bump that up a little bit.
We do.
Obviously, I don't wanna, I mean, she'll see it, but I just don't wanna have that discussion when she's there.
She's not gonna be here
Okay,
on the 7th.
but we do need to
So-
remedy that.
We've already talked, and she's okay with everything on her recommended budget,
Okay.
but we need to decide on that library position, so.
That wasn't on the thing for.
Well, no, that's fine. Let me,
Would you like for me to tell you that it's higher?
yeah, what's their number?
650.
650.
So the email you sent, the library assistant one, total salary is 50,020.80, and the director's making 48,459.96.
Yeah.
But that's including longevity too on that.
Yeah,
one.
that's
That's just
including-
total
Right,
salary.
but
So base salary, they're off $360.
we just hired an airport manager at 55,000. So I don't know. I just kind of seems like the airport and the library and the museum should all make the same thing.
well, they
But I
have
don't,
different,
I know they have
and
different.
there's
Yeah.
I
different
know they-
revenues that come in
Yeah.
and the types of people they see. Not types, the amount of people they oversee.
Okay, well, that is something for y'all to think about, but we need to probably have that discussion on that salary.
Yeah.
And so don't let us forget.
Okay.
Okay, and
It's on my notes.
yeah. I have that in my notes somewhere. So do y'all have anything else for today? Okay, we'll meet again Monday and we'll hear from the other departments. That should be all of them. And then look at the tax rate. We've got, let me look at our schedule here real quick. So our public hearing will be the 14th, which is our regularly scheduled meeting. So we'll put a notice in the paper.
We'll have to have the proposed budget then, because it has to be filed with the clerk by the
Yeah.
15th.
So we set a proposed tax rate and our proposed budget, which can change, but we have to set a proposed. So normally what we do is we go to what the no new revenue rate and just propose that just to get us somewhere. And then,
Is it that one or the voter approved?
yeah, maybe that's
Yes,
it.
the voter
Yeah, voter
approved, yes.
approved. I'm sorry, I said that wrong.
Vote approved.
Yeah, so we go there and then,
Yeah, because you can always lower. it.
yes,
Raise
we
it.
can't raise it. What, if we say proposed at 42, we can't raise it. We say proposed,
Just said it's voter approved and start with it. Just
yes.
leave it alone.
Okay, anything else? So we have a meeting on the 7th, which is Monday at 9:30, and we'll finish up with the departments and then meet again on the 14th.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay. Do I hear a second? Second, all those